Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card, the show where we take Big Sam's balls and make lemonade. How do we do it? It's a secret recipe.
When life gives you balls.
Big, large, saggy 68-year-old balls. You know, in that interview, by the way, he didn't look, he looked 78. I hate to say that, where he did the intro interview, but I did like a lot of things he said, right, Big Sam? You know, he took a lot of pressure off the players by saying, hey, man, Klopp's got nothing on me, bitch. You know, he's like, none of those guys do.
No.
All those guys, I'm as good as they are. And you know what? You go back through Big Sam's career, he's had some good moments. He really has done some amazing things in his own way. I will say that. So we can only hope for Leeds fans and fans of McKennie and Aronson that they're able to stay up. Or maybe and Adam, the turn in the background says, welcome to the Straight Red Card. No exclamation point as this season comes to a close. Who will get the move? Will Cade Cow finally go to Everton? No. Will my wife start blowing the dog? You know, she's blowing the dog? Holy shit.
Well, I guess that kind of coincides, and he even says hashtag bingo with our bingo cards. So, Derek, block your screen.
I guess. Oh, shit. All right, hold on.
Let's see. Is card number one the one you want? Oh, no bestiality there.
Dog? Oh, it's just bestialities, like the basic.
Yeah. Here's
okay.
Two, I say. Two.
I mean,
3.
That's legal in Spain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They just made it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I may have missed it, guys, but
Spain.
I don't know if that actually made the list this time.
But that chick in Texas, that influencer in Texas,
Yeah.
she got arrested. I don't think she blew the dog, though. I think she had sex with the dog. Like she inserted the dog's lipstick into her vaginal orifice.
Way to tiptoe around that without swearing. We're only 3 minutes into it.
I mean, I did the best I could. I mean, we got 4 minutes left. All right. Or vaginal orifice. All right. I do want to say that. All right. So tonight, for instance, I was driving home from work, right? And guess what fucking song came up on the fucking radio? Renegades by, who are those idiots? Ex-Ambassadors. Like the only fucking song they ever had that hit anything. And it was because of the Jeep commercial, if I remember right. That's what, but if you listen to the lyrics of that song, dude, you'll want to commit suicide like within 5 minutes after it's over.
It's funny because at the end of last show, some people were like saying, like, Derek likes Nickelback. Derek's like this. And one of them was Harvey Danger, and he goes, I have no idea who Harvey Danger is. So I pulled it up and
played it
to it.
after the show's over. Yeah.
He's like, I actually kind of like this.
It's not that bad. I mean, compared to this shit. Because wasn't there just an era in like 2004, 5 or somewhere around there where it was like everybody was trying to be Mumford and Sons? And I remember the drummer in my band, when I showed up for practice in Indianapolis before a show, we always practiced once before the show at like 7:00, and then we hit the show and we play at like 9 or 10. If we were the last ones on, it'd be 11. And he's like, if there is another fucking copy Mumford and Sons band, I'm gonna fucking stab my fucking head in with a fucking ice pick. That's what he told me.
Now.
And I said, Daniel, who are these Mumford and Sons guys that you talk about? Because I stopped listening.
Goddamn banjos.
Any goddamn. And then he's like, what about those fucking Lumineer motherfuckers? How about those ex-ambassador bitches? And then I'm like, who are the Lumineers? He's like, hey, ho. I'm like, no. Oh, God, I have heard that. do not sing that. Please do not bring that up. And what was the song? What was the lyrics to that song? Remember that one?
Well, I mean, as it's listed here, Derek just listens to WAP on repeat.
What's WAP?
That is a wet ass pussy.
What does that sound like? Like that? Or is
Walking around with wet flip flops on?
It's like like that? All right. Even flow all around like butterflies. There you go. There's my Eddie Vedder for the evening. Thank you for the request. All right. So I just had to bring that up because those bands suck. They suck. I mean, Mumford & Sons had like one song I could digest. The rest of them I couldn't stand. And I guess they're not Mumford & Sons anymore. They're like Mumford and his pet dog.
One of the band guys, I don't know if it's the lead singer or not, but he liked a book. Whose book was it?
Oh yeah,
like he posted on Twitter. He just got done reading a book and he liked it.
God damn him for liking a fucking book. I don't even know what the book was.
Yeah, that, like super fucking canceled for it.
Yeah,
and he bowed out so that way the band can continue doing their shit.
I guess I don't.
But
they
have you
never
heard from
made
them
up.
Since?
No, I haven't. No, but anyhow, it's a bunch of jangly, hey ho, stinky shithole music. No one should really listen to. And if you did, listen, that's your prerogative. I'm fine with it. If you like all that stuff, that's fine. If you think that Spielberg and whatever else that band mentions, the ex-ambassadors mention as renegades, then you don't know what a fucking renegade is. Spielberg's not a fucking. I mean, he made some interesting movies, but he's not a renegade. Do you know what a fucking renegade is? I mean, come on. All right.
I can tell you right now, it was not Mein Kampf.
No, it was no, and that you misspelled mine. But that's okay. It's no big deal. I like the fact that. Hey, did I ever tell you the story of my history teacher in high school who said the name of the book was Mein Kampf? And I was like, no, the name of the book was Mein Kampf, I'm pretty sure. And he's like, no, Hitler wrote a book named Mein Kampf where he spelled out his whole plan for the future.
There are people who say Crick and Warsh and Pilla. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to find some people that fuck shit up.
And I said, I'm pretty sure that's not correct. And he said, fuck off. Well, he didn't say that in class. He basically said, shut up. And then he came back the next day and said, all right, everybody, Derek was right. I mispronounced the name of the book. My bad.
BMR knows it. You would know it, Derek.
No. Whoa, hey.
There it is.
I would know it because I'm in historian.
The book was about it was an Andy Knows book about Antifa in Portland.
Yeah, I've never read it.
And his run-ins with Antifa.
Well, they couldn't have been good because I thought he got beat up by Antifa. I don't know.
He got a milkshake with cement with quick cement in it. Yeah. Put on his head. Not put, but smacked on his head.
Yeah. Speaking of which, all those leaks that they're doing on Tucker from Fox are kind of backfiring on them a bit because he doesn't look like a complete fucking asshole in those leaks. Nope. He doesn't look like an asshole in the leaks. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for him to look like an asshole. And then it's like, where's the asshole part? I don't know.
There was I know I got roasted beforehand, but there was a video. Tim Poole did a video on this, actually, where he talked about how he says that he thinks they're posting a bunch of videos that or audio clips that don't make him look bad, just to throw out one that's going to make him look horrible.
Oh, you think he also
talked about how it's all deep faked. Most of it is because he even went through like a 10-minute spell where he kept deep faking Tucker Carlson to say a bunch of shit. So
well, keep an eye on that if you give a fuck about it.
This is the scary shit about this when you talk about the deep.
I don't like that deep fake shit.
Audio, like did you ever see the Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro one where they
talk about I did see that one.
Yeah, you old. Oh, I went to the beach. It makes you old. You know.
Yeah, I don't. This whole deep fake thing is really creepy. It's creepy as fuck. So anyhow, yeah, maybe they're slow leaking it, and it's just going to get worse as it goes on. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know. That's just shit that comes up on my YouTube. Thought I'd talk about it. All right, what else we got? Let's start with Brett. Would you ever jump out of a plane?
No. Well, no. Okay, no. Let's take it back. Let's say it's an Indiana Jones situation where the pilots all jumped. You don't have any other answer. Otherwise, you're going to crash into the Andes or the Alps or wherever the fuck it was.
Yeah, then I jump out.
Yeah, I'll jump out of there. Fuck you. Yeah, why not? What else? You're just going to burn up in a plane?
With a parachute.
Yeah, well, he did it with an inflatable raft. So,
yeah. Anyhow, that was just one of those weird questions. Like,
but for shits and giggles of going up and then jumping out with the parachute for no, fuck that.
I don't understand people who do that for fun. Like, I guess there's a certain amount of adrenaline you get out of it.
In the small chance that parachute fucks up, I put myself in a position that I'm going to die when I would normally not have died at that point. Yeah,
it's just like, why take the extra risk? Driving to work every day is fucking hard enough without getting slaughtered on the fucking highway and on the way to downtown Indy. Like,
especially
you see
especially
wrecks
in
everywhere.
First snow, man. You're fucked when it's first snow.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Make sure that you like and subscribe tonight. Also, do know that there are special rewards for super chatting, and Brett will meet you halfway. We've already established that, so keep that in mind. All right, so that's about it for the bullshit section. 12 whole minutes of it. You want to get to some soccer?
Well, with soccer-esque topics at least.
All right.
Derek, there was a video that came out recently where some Leeds players were exiting a hotel and completely ignored a little kid. I'm sure everybody in the chat has clearly listened or watched this and everything, but have you seen the audacity, these devilish players ignoring a small kid trying to get signatures?
So yes, I've seen it because I watch Joe football, Leeds guy, and I really like Joe for the most part. But boy, did he went nuts on this. He played the video, the clip, and he's like, I don't know. Here's my best interpretation of what he said. Look at these fuckers. They don't even have they can't even stop and sign a fucking autograph. I mean, it was horrible. Like, he was just saying, this is the worst. These are the biggest slum pieces of shit, garbage that ever played for Leeds.
I feel like he's kind of jaded because of how the season is going. But
yeah, I do think that. We mentioned that last show. Joe is emotional, and watching his show is like watching a fucking, a roller coaster go up and down depending on what happens.
Brian, I do moisturize daily.
Oh, he's thinking about meeting you halfway.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. But lo and behold, those are the many people, just like you do with any kind of controversy, you don't necessarily want to be the first person out of the gate posting shit, especially if you're going to get emotional. If you're just posting what happened and say, maybe there's a second side of the story, we'll see, keep you up to date. But if you're going to get emotional about it, maybe just hold off for like 24 hours and something might pop up, And oddly enough, the family, because Leeds has been reaching out. Wanted to make this right. And the family has a completely different take on the day. So I figured we'd watch some of this and pause it accordingly and stuff. But
in your kit at the hotel as your heroes are about to take on Bournemouth in a crunch match.
Yeah,
that was depressing to watch.
Waving at them.
Are these his grandparents? I hope so.
Those are his parents.
No fucking way.
It's Mama, Papa.
Get the fuck out of here. What is she, 50? When she have this little runt? 47? He looks like he's 60 years old.
I think this looks like a lovely, lovely family.
No, I'm not saying they're not lovely. I just thought these were his grandparents.
Perfect timing. We are Leeds. We're talking about you folk.
Listen, no offense to these parents, but they look fairly aged to have a child at that age. I'm sorry. They look like grandparents. They don't look like parents. I love them. I'm sorry. They haven't aged well. No, I'm just saying they don't look like. All right.
You're nice, dude. They are 36.
Are they? They really 36 years old?
Oh, no.
Because I can tell you at 36, I look like a goddamn stud. Anyhow, no offense to these guys. They do look older. You have to admit that. They look older. All right, go ahead and play.
I felt like I was about
to fart.
Some of them waved at me.
There you go.
And some of them didn't. So,
but a lot of them did.
Yeah.
So you can tell who did.
Sorry to butt in here, but
no, John, I was going to ask because actually what happened was a little bit.
We're going to find out, right?
Than what we saw on that video.
How big of a check did Raz cut them for this interview?
Like, hey, we won't make this right.
Raz is on. He's like, here, I'm going to give you this check for $50,000, and you just say nice shit. All right.
England can be rough on people.
No, I get that. I'm starting to understand that. I really am. I had a friend who visited, by the way, England, named Brian Winterman. And by the way, he is a handsome motherfucker. Yes, I think he's 47 at this point. And wherever he went, and he dresses up with a leather jacket. He looks like a fucking movie star. But wherever they went, he went in England to visit. And he went to a lot of small villages. Everybody's like, are you a movie star? Are you an American movie star? He's like, no, I'm just visiting.
I've got a gigantic dong.
No, he didn't say that. And I don't know if he does. I've never asked Brian that question before.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What you've got to remember is that the video is just a tiny snapshot of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
In actual fact, there's in the video, you can see Max Wober. It looks like he's blanking him, but he isn't. He actually smiled. And we've got a list of players that actually smiled, and waved. We've got Adam Forshaw, Jack Harrison, Luke Ayling, Stuart Dallas smiled, Joel Roble smiled.
So Sam just Greenwood a smile does it for
Max
this dude.
Wober smiled. Willie Nonto.
Well, I mean, the idea is that what everybody's pissed off about was that people they ghosted them. They ghosted them. They didn't even make eye contact. They just walked right past these fans who really wanted to.
Some of them did,
and that's what I'm saying. He's
but
saying, we got some interaction. A lot of the players did something.
They got a really low bar for interaction here, and that is cracking of a smile. Right?
That's all it takes. Just acknowledge me.
That's
acknowledge
all it
the
took,
peasant, please.
That's all it took in 9th grade. Yes. But you need a little more than that. Moving on. But anyhow, I still can't believe these are fucking.
Did a little side glance and said hi. It looks like he doesn't do anything at all. Yavi Gracia, bless his heart, bent down and tickled his chin.
Oh, thank God.
Bent down, tickled his chin.
I'm just like, thank God, yeah.
Well, this is a very unfortunate timing for this interview because he's no longer with the team. Whoops.
Oopsie.
Ooh. Okay.
Brendan Harrison signed. He signed, and Pascal Struijk, who's on the video, looks like he's ignoring. He actually said hi to somebody else further along the line. So, what they've shown in that video is
boy, poor Gracia.
It's just a tiny snapshot.
Yeah.
And Luke Ayling gave him a fist bump.
Actually, it hasn't actually.
All right, well,
there's our boy. Yeah, that's good enough.
Stop. That's a perfect place to stop it. Look.
The more I look at the woman in the video, the more she could be possibly 40. Possibly, maybe.
That's all you're taking out of this.
I'm sorry. Those are the oldest looking parents of a fucking 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy I've ever seen. I don't know. It's like a world record. Are they in Guinness? I don't know. I'm just saying. Women cannot have babies after I'm a certain age. It becomes very hard.
It's getting older and older as we speak. I mean, the chances decrease as you get older. But it's getting older and older.
I see a lot of ragged-looking 38-year-old women on the Butler campus pushing around baby carriages. So trust me, I get it. And then, of course, Jennifer, my ex-wife, we almost had a baby when she was, 37, 38? And that didn't work, of course, because, both of us are too old to make a baby that's going to last through the whole 9 months. So I'm not making light of this necessarily as a joke.
Ultimately, the whole point of bringing this up is the same reason why we didn't jump on board with the dogpiling of Gio Reyna and during Gio Gate and stuff like that. You got to wait for everything to come out, and then you come.
Well,
to your
the whole
conclusion after
theory
that.
that Gio had some, sinister
Blackmailing
involvement in his parents'
Yeah.
absurd anger is just ridiculous.
So
Just ridiculous.
ultimately, don't jump to conclusions. But
Don't.
I understand you having a problem with old people now. Let's reel it back.
I'm an old person. What are you talking about? I'm probably older than both of those old fucks. I'm older than them.
Anyways, let's take a moment and take a look at some younger folk. How about that?
Okay.
Will that get your jollies off?
I hope it's legal, whatever you're going to show.
You'll have to tell me if this is legal, Derek. I'm not sure.
All right.
Who's this guy? Who's that guy?
Oh my God, that's the photo my mom sent me.
That is a picture of Bigfoot right there. Look how hairy you are. Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm already so fucking hairy. I'm fucking like 18 years old. I'm already destined for like complete like where I'm at now. I gotta shave and cut shit and just to stay like not being resembling a gorilla. I've got like hair growing everywhere now. I'm 50 but this is an omen, right? I'm 18. My mom sent me this. She's like, I found this photo. I've never seen it before in like a stack of photos of you back in whatever, when you were 18, visiting from college. But I did have to say one thing. All right. I knew one thing looking at that picture. I knew why I was getting so much pussy back then. That's for sure. Because that is one studly motherfucker. It's a sad state where I'm at now.
Turd covered what I was going to joke around about here and say, when you can look at the analytics of our show and find out what was the most replayed portion of it, or where were the most viewers really clicking on, I think this might be the moment right here.
You think it is?
Yeah, the point.
You think it's going to bring the ladies to the show?
The 0.01% of our lady population here probably will come back to this point a number of times, but I imagine that there has to be kind of a gay population somewhere in our fan base.
Well, sure.
Some.
And they're welcome to spank it if they want to. But yeah, this is a young photo of me. And I thought I'd never seen it before myself. So not signing up for your OnlyFans. Why not? Oh, well, yeah, don't sign up for now. Yeah. You should have signed up.
Sweet microwave.
That's a good point. Look at how gigantic microwaves were back then.
That was back when you used to get cancer if you were within 5 feet from it.
I mean, look at how gigantic that fucking microwave is. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. All right.
The good news is, just judging off of this photo, I think you might be the culprit of climate change and global warming. Did you know this? Because even icebergs seem to be enjoying it.
Man from dildo discovers iceberg shaped like a giant penis. Man from dildo. Do you know where dildo is, Brett?
Newfoundland, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, yes, dildo, Newfoundland.
Dildo, Newfoundland. It is a real town.
God.
And New York Post, they're just making this shit up. There's no way that is what that looked like. No way. Absolutely.
It's awfully pixelated, of course. So who knows? I mean, what was that picture taken with a razor?
I don't know.
Nice flip phone, a Nokia from 1998?
1988, yeah, something like that. But hey, I mean, I can't believe the New York Post is putting this shit out. I mean, they got to be seriously bored. Seriously, they got to be bored out of their asses.
Oh no! But I mean, seriously though, Derek, from taking shirtless photos,
yeah,
you're the one that's causing climate change. All the icebergs are melting
because I was so hot.
Yeah, everything, all the glaciers, everything, the snow from on top the peaks. There's no more snow for snowboarders and skiers. Thanks, Derek.
I really apologize for that, but you know what, Brett? When you're born like a Greek god, you gotta fucking just let yourself release it. You gotta take off the shirt. No, I'm not gonna do that. All right. Anyhow, certainly not doing it now. I can tell you that much. I don't know. I mean, we got some hair down here. All right. What? Hey, go out.
Do it. No.
Buy this shirt. Buy this shirt. All right. There we go.
All right. Well,
that was a shirt commercial right there. We don't do the believe things here. As you well know, Brett and I turned down several offers to do. And the believe.
I said, it definitely describes the bluest of blue balls ever.
Oh, yeah. Frozen. Not good.
All right.
But very erect. Very erect. Yes. All right. What do we got next?
It's definitely going to have to go to the hospital because that thing has been erect for longer than 4 hours.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I don't know if you have had a night.
Just is not going in deep enough.
I mean, I've had a night of gallivanting, and it lasted at least 4 or 5 hours. Never really considered going to the hospital.
You were asleep for 3 hours and 45 minutes of it, right?
Well, no, I didn't use the pill back then. I was a vibrant young man. I didn't need the pill, right? But I guess if you use the pill and that shit stays hard after you're done doing it, yeah, that's not good. You're just laying around with a hard pecker trying to go to sleep with a gigantic woody. You got a tent going while you're trying to go to bed. I mean, it wouldn't bother me. I just you couldn't sleep on your stomach.
Chris, I'll come back to your comment. This was a funny comment here.
This guy keeps his socks on. You know, that's a funny story because when I was really, really young, I was probably, not super young. At this point, I was probably 18 and I met Heather, right? And Heather was 2 years older than me. And I remember her probably the second time we ever, got together. She said, take your fucking socks off. So I learned my second time with Heather that socks weren't acceptable. It wasn't the time I ever had sex, but it was the first time any woman ever told me, take your fucking socks off. There you go. I learned from that. I never did it again from 18 on. You take your fucking socks off. That's how that works. What's the most prestigious game you've ever been to live? None.
What's the biggest game you've ever been to? You ever been to a game?
The biggest game I've ever been to is the inaugural game of Indy 11. I can't really say that any other game I've ever been to was more important.
You're gonna have to pop your cherry once we start going to some games this cycle.
Dude, you remember what happened that day? The inaugural game, I was called out at the beginning of the game, along with Mayor Ballard and the governor and everybody else, and we were at midfield. And there were 11 of us, and we had to kick the ball to one of the players. Remember that?
Yes.
You remember that?
I do remember this, yes.
Do you remember Mayor Ballard, totally almost missing the ball and falling on his ass? But anyhow,
yes.
The fans were going crazy.
At that point.
We had a packed stadium, and I'm sorry, we helped build a fucking professional soccer team. There is nothing that is going to ever beat that in my life. Unless I go watch the U.S. play in 2026 and win a World Cup or win a semifinal or something like that. But nothing's going to beat the recognition that the Brickyard Battalion and I got that evening. And that was, I felt like I was on acid. It was like a trip.
The first 2 seasons were a blast because we had a partnership with what was the brewery? I'm spacing that name right now.
Oh yeah, I always forget the name of that brewery too.
Can't think of the brewery. We had a partnership with them. Basically, they would sell us at discount kegs, like small kegs, like the small narrow kegs,
the pony kegs.
Yeah, and we would bring them to the to tailgate, set it up, and basically, as long as you were over 21, here's a beer, and just handed the beers out. And of course, we had a tip jar that helped us continue that process up. But that was such a blast until excise came and decided to be dicks.
Now,
shit happens.
As far as this question goes, I never got to go to a 1994 World Cup game. So that might have changed it for me, to go to a game in the United States. I did watch several Cosmos games. I went to Cosmos games as a kid. I got to watch Beckenbauer and Pele. I guess those are kind of prestigious, but there's nothing like the feeling of doing all the work to start your own professional soccer team and see it happen. That cannot be beaten.
That's a great point. That is a great moment. I would say as far as just focusing on national team games, so I've been to plenty of Chicago games, which for the most part, I guess when I was going, then they were pretty prestigious at the point because they're always conference champions or something like that. But
Back then, yeah.
Yep. I think so. I went to the U.S. Honduras game in the 2014 cycle qualifier, where we won 2-1 off PK. That was great.
Nice.
I also went to go see U.S. play Brazil in Chicago. Friendly.
Yeah, friendly's
we
just
got,
you're not going to get
stomped,
there.
We got stomped 4-2, but it's still fun.
I mean, it's fun, but it's not prestigious.
The Honduras game. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but the Honduras game, we actually went up to a friend of ours who was living in Chicago and then caught a cab to Soldier, and on the cab right there, he got so pissed off that this fucker cut him off that he went in the skinny fucking side lane between a cement wall and the car, revved past him just to cut his ass off. I'm like, dude, we're gonna fucking die.
That's
We're not gonna get to the game.
That is not cool. Well, you got passengers, dude. Think of your passengers.
Yeah.
Wow. Do these guys talk about football?
Eventually we talk about it. We do.
We just answer football questions.
We get to the point eventually, but we do have our bullshit topics early on. Yeah,
we'll get there.
A lot of fun. We're here to have fun. 2 hours. Come on.
It's fun. If it's not, listen, here's about how much material is out there right now to talk about as far as U.S. soccer goes, right? Yeah. And we're going to take this little dick and we're going to make it about this big because that's what we do here, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. We get the material fully erect. All right, let's move on to the next
let's move on to another topic here then.
What do you all think about this? It's Deacon, of course. Deacon, Adam. Adam Wiggins? Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
Adam's always really giving us some good shit here. UEFA president opens door to Champions League final in USA. Ooh, the Europeans are not going to like that at all. Not at all.
Well,
we should refuse it.
UEFA's seeing this right here.
I know, but we should refuse it.
That's big money. That'd be I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. I'd feel bad for the European leagues.
We don't need that hate.
No,
we don't need it. Don't push that on us, fucker. You just keep the fucking UEFA championship in your way. And you know what? The only way I'd accept that is if they allowed the MLS champion to play in the UEFA.
How badly going to get stumped, yeah.
Or they allowed us to play in the Euro Cup or something. I don't know. There would have to be some give and take. Otherwise, I don't need that hate. I don't need it.
We'll take the Champions League final. You can have the MLS Cup, right? Good trade.
Yeah, it'd be a good trade for us.
Give them CONCACAF Champions League. I'm sure they'd like to watch LAFC versus whoever they're going to face.
Yeah.
Has already been figured out who they're facing? Is it Lyon?
I don't remember, but I might be. Yeah. I didn't watch the Mexico versus Mexico club game. Did not watch it.
Lyon versus
I just know LAFC beat the hell out of Philadelphia and fucking Jim Curtin. Jim Curtin cried like a little bitch and made excuses like one too. So I'm not sure Jim Curtin's who we want as manager for the team.
We are playing
Lyon.
Sorry,
what is he?
But they are playing Lyon.
Oh, Leon? He's got that. He's holding his big. It's Lyon. Yeah.
Lyon. Okay. See, I'm saying like it's like a French city. Lyon.
It's the same.
I know it's not, but
it's no different. It's all. It's basically all romantic languages.
Lion versus Tigers. Where are the Bears? Oh, they're in Chicago. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Jesus. What would we do?
It's not French. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun to say stuff out of context and incorrect. Like Derek Ritchie. Clearly his name is Richet. So
no, it isn't. All right. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete, for continuously calling me Derek Richet on your show. I appreciate that. All right.
Adam Wiggins says winners play Cocaine Bears.
I have not watched Cocaine Bear yet. It is on my Apple. I have not watched it yet. Or whatever it's on. It's on Apple, right? Pretty sure it's on
I don't know. I don't know if it's no, it can't be Apple.
No, I think it is.
I think it's like Paramount because it came out in theaters and Apple doesn't release shit to theaters.
I'm told that this is not worth watching at this point. So I'm going to watch it.
It's from what I've heard, it's like the least funny comedy.
I don't know how you blow that. How do you blow a movie?
We're getting multiple views. It's Prime. It's Peacock. It's Hulu.
Holy shit!
People are fucking with us.
It's everywhere. Nevertheless, I will watch it.
Peacock and it sucks, is what Sean says.
I don't know how you screw up making that not funny. Really, I don't even know how you do that. But,
what's her face directed? That's why.
What? Oh, because she's a woman?
No, she's just not. It's not funny.
I would blame the writers mostly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
We're the writers. Yeah.
Who hired the writers?
Well, and the actors, because if you have a good script, but the actors can't deliver, that's a problem.
Quit making excuses for her.
I don't even know who the fuck she is.
Fortunately, people know us well enough not to take any flack for that.
I mean, if the director was Meg Swanek, I'm defending her all day. All day. Transfer news. Source: Sevilla and Hoffenheim are currently the most interested clubs in Tyler Adams, and should Leeds be relegated, which is looking very likely. His preference is to stay in England, of course. If they stay up, he'd like to stay. Arsenal and Newcastle monitoring the situation, while both Inter and Milan have reached out to Leeds to give them a reach around the World Cup.
Yay.
So let's just start it. Adams is one of the guys we're going to talk about tonight. If by some fanciful, ridiculously crazy circumstances that they manage to stay up in the Premier League, then he's going to stay at Leeds. It's that simple. For at least another season. At least. So, I mean, if he goes to Hoffenheim, he can go hang out with Brooks.
The only chance that he leaves, if they stay in the Prem, the only way that he leaves Leeds is that if there's such a ridiculous bid that they cannot say no to. But they don't have a backup to him. We're seeing this now.
No,
why would they ever want to get rid of him?
They've got no backup. And by the way, if you aren't aware of this, but Big Sam likes to predominantly play two positions. And I'm not talking 69. Missionary. Big Sam, in his last two goes with Everton and West Ham, likes to play a 4-1-4-1. I mean, who would be better in front of the four of that 4-1-4-1 than Adams? Nobody. And he likes to play a 4-2-3-1. So we'll see what he does. He does, on occasion, play a 3-5-2. It'll really depend on how bad he thinks this defense is and how much support it needs. But, and so that could be a very defensive 3-5-2. It really could be.
So I guess since we're jumping into that topic now, let's skip ahead a bit here to it. No need for us to come back to it and everything. So,
Chris Gary says, I'd like to see some of our guys take a step down in club league quality. Playing time is the most important thing. Pulisic to West Ham, I'd be fine with that. Or Newcastle. Mm-hmm. Or Serie A would be ideal. We just saw his former teammate, Chelsea teammate at AC Milan, say wonderful things about him today. And say, yeah. I mean, Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud said wonderful things about him. And said, we'd love to have him here. So, yeah, bring him on. I mean, he's what we need here, or he'll fit in great. We have a great chemistry. So that's an option. I think wherever he goes, wherever it is, as long as he's going to play, I really don't care if it's West Ham or Newcastle or AC Milan. As long as he's going to get some playing time. Currently, I wouldn't stay at Chelsea. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it's Pochettino. Get the fuck out of that shit.
He's not even making the bench at this point. I mean, is it that Chelsea's looking at it saying we got to play some of these guys because we want to sell them because we want to keep Pulisic, I'm just saying. Let's say
No,
they want to keep Pulisic, so they're playing these other guys in hopes to try to build up some stock to get rid of some of these other people.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think they're like, listen, let's not get this guy hurt. We're going to sell him anyhow. He wants
That's
to
what I'm
leave.
thinking too, yeah.
And let's try out some of these newer guys and see who we want to hold on to because we signed all these fuckers.
Let's take a look at how that stat's working here, or how those players are working here.
So we don't even know who some of these players are. So let's throw them out there and see how good they are. And then we'll figure out by the end of the season, when we're almost in relegation zone, who we want to hold on to and who we don't. I mean, there's some guys.
Bold strategy, Con. Let's see if it works.
Well, they're not really worried about winning anymore. The rest of the season.
They still have a chance to be relegated. I mean, it's a slim chance.
Not really, no.
Like I said, it's a slim chance. It's slim.
It would have
as long as they get 1 point, they're probably safe at that point. But still, but I mean, since Chelsea have used 3 different managers to move from 38 to 39 points since April 1st.
Yeah,
it's a whole month of 1 point. So
I mean, there's a better chance of you being able to penetrate your own asshole with your own penis than Chelsea getting relegated. Let's just put it that way. All right, it ain't gonna happen.
Are you assuming? No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Sorry.
I don't know how long. Well, anyway, I'm just saying it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I agree. But I mean, at this point, I would at least be trying to at least get that 1 point just to solidify the fact that you're probably not going to go down.
They'll probably get a point somewhere. You would think, right?
One would think so, yes. But then again, it took them a whole month to get 1 point here.
Yeah, I mean, that team is abominable. They have no fucking respect for themselves. They're the most it's just a clownish group of players I've ever seen put together with no fucking self-respect. Any team with any self-respect would play better than they play with the amount of money that those guys are making. It's embarrassing. Yeah. They should all be embarrassed as a group and individually. They should go home every night and go, I suck. And this team sucks, and I suck too. Because they really should, because that's how they play. They suck. And I don't know if guys are still jerking off to Enzo out there, but he didn't look that great again.
Well, you won't have to worry about jerking off to Enzo because I'm going to show you some photos of the new Chelsea women players being brought in here. Okay, you ready? So here we go. We're talking about the Chelsea versus Arsenal match. And I said, not on the injury list, not on the bench. Marty here, he says, well, he's holding Christie out for the big one tomorrow where Chelsea women play Liverpool.
Okay.
And I'm like, moving on up, And he posted a picture of Christie. Look at this. Look at this fabulous lady.
Yeah, I don't really follow English women's soccer. Man, she's pretty robust.
Christie is, dear God, she's beautiful. Or it's beautiful. But you know what? Christie is
defined.
Christie is also not the only player that's going to play for the women's team. Because we also have Brenda.
Oh, God. Oh, good God. This is like the AI again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
there you go. Chris Gary asks, how many beers? I'm guessing that was for Pulisic, but
he looks way hotter as a woman. And it doesn't.
The eyes soften up. The smile gets
that's a big change. Come on, that doesn't look like Brendan Aronson as a woman.
Hair.
I'm sorry. The chick version is way attractive. That is not fair. And whoever is making
Brenda's
these,
cute.
Brenda is way cute. She's completely effable, whereas Brendan is,
or whereas
a man.
Christie. That's a man, baby.
Listen, it looks like a woman to me, but I get what you're saying. I mean, can we play Lola? Remember that song? Remember that one?
Yeah.
By the Kinks?
Yeah.
Lola, La 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 la. And the whole point is, I guess. Oh fuck! I wish I had the lyrics in front of me. I'd sing a part of the song, but I can't remember the lyrics. But all I know is it's a dude gets kissed by a dude who looks like a woman.
I'm glad somebody's got it right now. This ain't my bag, baby.
But I'm not the world's most. Well, I'm not the world's most passionate guy, but I know what shit. I wish I knew the lyrics. God damn it! All right. Anyhow, we'll move on. I'd like to see.
Let's go ahead and jump over to Dest since he's here.
All right.
Dest should go to Bundesliga.
Of course.
There's talk. I mean, there was talk that Union Berlin is very interested. Is that the pronunciation there proper?
Dutch is a lot closer. Union Berlin. Dutch is a lot closer to German. That'll help him. Spanish people seem to fucking totally be repulsed by him. Italian people seem to be repulsed by him. So romantic languages are out at this point, I think. So no France, no Spain, no Italy. I think it's time to head to the languages.
What about
Germany.
English? Is English a romantic language?
No, it's not. It's a mutt. But I do think he needs to go to Germany. I think that's probably the best place for him. As you said, Union Berlin are interested. And I say just go. And I realize they already have a right back. But he might be sold. I don't know. And he might get injured. I don't know. But I think he's got a lot better chance of playing there than he does at any of those
maybe they aren't looking at him playing him back. We've been talking about that for a bit.
Yeah, play him at midfield. Why the fuck are we stuck on this idea that Serginho Dest can't play right midfield? I've been saying it for a while. There's
definitely a contingent that's trying to push Weah back to the back and push Dest up.
Okay, well that's just drunkenness. That's
I know
absurdity.
Weah was our most dangerous player in the entire qualification process and in the World Cup, but maybe he's playing that Lille right and left back, so ergo.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to have Weah play left back. It really doesn't. You know, that's like having the fluffer be the guy with the biggest boner on the set. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that just means in between scenes he's fluffing himself, right?
Well, you would hope not. But, yeah, it doesn't make sense is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't play left back or right back. Whatever it is. No back, no defense. The guy's an attacking player. Let him play in the attack. He's got to move on as well. Move on, Weah. Find a new club. If you have to drop a few steps down in the French league to do it, do it. Just get it done. I think Balogun will go back to Arsenal. I don't know who they're going to loan him out to next. So go fill in for Balogun. Go take his role at Reims. Take that job.
Yeah.
They're going to need one. And I think he could do just as good of a job in many ways at the center forward spot than Balogun. Maybe not as good. I don't know. But let's give him a chance to prove it. That's all I'm saying. I know we've all fallen in love with Balogun. Some of us more than others. And I just think let's see what Weah could do in the same circumstance playing for a middle the table team in France. Let's see if he can score some goals. Because Lille, they're a good team.
In the position that he's played most of his life, you know? The whole
striker
thing, you know?
God forbid he gets to actually play that. Yep.
Chris Gary here says Soto to Real Madrid.
I don't even know what Soto did after this week. I know he played for Klagenfurt during the weekend, and I know they lost. That's all I remember. But Soto, wow, man, it's like the problem is that Hoppy's reaching Soto like air. Because guess what Soto did last season? He played in the Scottish Premier League and didn't get much playing time. And now Hoppy's replicating that. And I really hate to say that because I love Matthew Hoppy and I love his family. And, you know, I'm really sad. I want to see him do something. I want to see him improve. But don't come back to MLS, dude. Don't do it. If you have to go another year at Hibernian, Fucking bang it out, dude. The problem is, if you can't bang it out at Iberian, you're not gonna be able to bang it out at Atlanta.
It's
Chicago.
He's got the talent to bang it out at Iberian. I mean, there's something else, and maybe it's attitude.
There
maybe
is something else. Yes,
something's there.
There's something else wrong.
Because there's no way you can watch him play at in the Gold Cup,
right,
for the United States, obviously, and say, well, he just can't hack it in the Scottish Premier League. Of course he can. Come on,
he can. There is something else going on, and I think it's behavioral, and I think it is the way Hoppy can come off.
I was playing for Schalke in the Bundesliga. I shouldn't be here at SPL. That's what I'm thinking personally.
I mean, look at who else has come off the pitch besides Matthew Hoppy and told fucking Berhalter, I'm the best motherfucker player on the field, motherfucker. And then Berhalter said, sit your ass down, bitch. Yeah, like, I mean, can you imagine a coach having to deal with a guy with that much confidence? But that confidence has got to be waning at this point. There's some sort of humility that must be coming into the picture at this point with Matthew Hoppy.
In there.
And I don't think he's not a humble guy. I think what happens is when it comes to soccer, this guy's a beast and he's got no self-control. I think he just gets too fired up, because he's so nice off the pitch. Such a nice guy. I don't know. It's weird, but some guys turn into beasts when they get on the pitch. Just assholes. So there's that. That ain't Conrad, though. Conrad doesn't turn into an asshole on the pitch. He just doesn't. He just floats around and says, I don't give a fuck.
I wish I knew more about his particular situation. Where's he at right now anyways? He's still in Greece?
He's still in Olympiacos. Yeah.
So I wish I knew more. I wish I knew more of that situation.
I can only tell you what the Olympiacos people tell me, which is that he didn't give a fuck. And it's pretty obvious he didn't give a fuck, and that he assumed that he would be a starter and that, he didn't have to work real hard for it. Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck is Conrad?
You know who Conrad is because you spelt his name proper.
Exactly. Dude, if you're spelling his name with a K, then you know exactly who the fuck he is. All right, what else? Jimmy Conrad? Is he talking about Jimmy Conrad?
What about Jimmy? Jimmy's playing in Greece? Anyways, probably could. Probably still could.
Not anymore. I don't think so.
Final point that Chris brings up here is Gio should stick it out, stay healthy, and earn a spot next year. What do you think about Gio?
It's tough for me right now because I keep watching him play 10 minutes, and it just blows my mind that that's where he's stuck right now. I get it. Dortmund's a good place. He's not going to regress at Dortmund. But God, can you just imagine him getting a fucking loan at Hoffenheim for a season or something like that?
It'll be that's something that why not consider, I guess, is loan process. But we have the transfer season coming up here. We know Bellingham's gone. I'm sure a number of Dortmund always sells some 3.
They'll probably lose 4 players.
Yeah. Yep. So it's going to open up spots. The question is he putting in the effort now? Wouldn't you think he would, because he's getting about 10 minutes a game, roughly speaking, that he's one of the options off the bench.
Yeah.
That might be a contender for a starting role again. Because if you remember before he got injured, he was a consistent starter in that spot.
Alongside Holland. Yep.
So, yeah, it's
back in the day.
I want Gio to get time. I think he can be very successful at Dortmund, but I want him to get playing time.
I think he's going to have to be a little bit more. Now, I might be asking something that's not possible because there are certain players that play a certain way and they always look languid, right? There's nothing you can do to change that. But I just feel like sometimes I just feel like he's always going to be criticized for looking like he doesn't care that much. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing he can do to change that. I'm remembering the player, center forward, who played for Fulham, played for Man United, starts with a B, and everybody's like, oh, that guy's lazy. No, he was just a fucking amazing center forward. Just an amazing player who always looked kind of languid and like he didn't give a fuck. But that's Not true. We all know Reyna loves playing fucking soccer. Berbatov. Thank you, Andrew.
I was going to guess
Schumacher.
Eddie Johnson, but that didn't start with the B. So
no, Berbatov is exactly who I was looking for. So they're just certain players that give off that air, but in reality, they're killers. Give them one shot, they're going to score a goal. And I think he's proven that as well. I just wish that Dortmund valued him more than they do right now.
Well,
right now, they're thinking he's not a field player that you can use for 70 minutes.
To use U.S. players in general, he doesn't have to have the energy level of an Aronson because he just works himself into a position to receive the ball and he can distribute. He can beat a man on the dribble.
Could you have named a player more opposite of Reyna?
Yes, that's the point, really. Okay, he doesn't need to be the next McKennie in the sense of the work effort. Again, effort in a sense. So
McKennie's pretty languid too.
But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things like you're looking at him like he's not running around like a chicken with his head cut off, but he's getting into positions to receive the ball, distribute out. Now, not everything works out, of course, and sure, sometimes he doesn't get back on the defense as robust as he should, but I mean he does what he does. That's his game. It's his game style. I mean, if it's not going to work at Dortmund, then ship him out. Might as well do it now while his status is high enough that he can make money off of it.
Reyna's an artist. Let's be really honest. And what he needs a little bit more of is some Roy Keane in that bloodstream, right? You get a little Jermaine Jones, little Roy Keane in that bloodstream, a little bit more fight, a little bit. I think you're going to see a better player, a more intense player. So you can be languid and intense at the same time. So we'll see if he can do something like that. And I do think that most of this is just but these fucking morons on goal.com, dude. Oh my God. I think there was an article about Reyna there a couple days ago. People are like, oh yeah, fucking Reyna's shit. He's garbage. I'm like, what are you fucking watching? And there's obviously one guy who created 3 accounts and posted on there because he puts up he posts on the same comment. It's pretty much the giveaway is that their sentence structure and the language they use is exactly the same for every person. And you're like, okay, either these are 4 morons who hang out in the same fucking house, or these is 4 of the same people. Their comment section is such garbage in goal.com. They got to fucking clean that up. It's ridiculous. All right. What else we got?
We got Weston McKennie here, who is a wizard. You're a wizard, Wes.
Yeah.
Happy International Harry Potter Day.
I can't think of a player more despised right now at Leeds than Weston McKennie.
Yeah.
Outside of Melier, although at least Melier had some good faith build up.
Sean here, I'm guessing that's pronounced how you say Sean. I don't know about the little. Is that a tilde? What is that? Over the A. What is that?
Yeah.
Not a tilde.
So what is that going to change the name of the way I pronounce Sean?
Sean? I don't know.
To Jean? Jean? Or
anyway,
no? Cian?
Whatever. We'll with Sean because that's how I would say it.
I'm just.
He does say, I can see why Juve wanted rid. Expected much more from the lad, but overall, very, very poor. Will end up back in MLS or Germany. Now,
that's not fair.
Before we get into this, I will say I had a nice back and forth with him. Sean's not a bad guy. He said a snarky comment about a player he's not big. Didn't get blown away from. Okay, we all been there. So I said, well, he's never actually played in MLS, so it would be he would end up in MLS or back in Germany. Though I don't know why going back to Germany would be such a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
And he goes, we went back and forth. He went back and saying, like, outside of Dortmund and Bayern, Germany's kind of meh. And I'm like, I wanted to say,
what?
What's Leeds?
I mean, come on.
But I didn't really want to go that.
No, I get it. I mean, you're going to argue the guys like there's 2 teams in Germany. That's just bullshit. There's at least, 8 good teams in Germany. 3 exceptional ones.
So, yeah, I was gonna say. There's a minimum. There's at least 2 dominant ones. that are consistent ones and twos, mainly ones and twos, really, actually. I mean, it's usually Bayern, it's usually Dortmund up at the top, and there are occasional flip flops. Maybe that's a relatively recent thing, obviously, but for the most part, I mean, the league itself is competitive, and that's
it's a great league.
That's all
absolutely
I care
great
about.
League. Yeah,
I want my players. This is what Chris was talking about earlier. I want our players to not be riding pine at top teams at this point. I want them. This is our golden generation. We need them sharp. We need them playing consistently in top leagues, which is why I was not a big. I wasn't against having multiple Americans at Leeds, in the sense that they're playing in top leagues. They're going to get consistent playing time for the most part. I expected them to get more goals and not necessarily be in the same situation they're in now. But who would have thunk that their leading goal scorer for the past couple of years decides to shit a brick this year?
All right, well, you're shitting on Bamford again. I'm just telling you that I did not like the idea of having this many Americans on Leeds, and I said it straight up. I said 2's enough. Stop now. Because guess what?
Sure.
Who is going to get shit on? And you know what? At this point, it is.
I mean, I didn't want West at Leeds anyways.
It's not even that they don't deserve to be shit on, because West has been poor outside 2 games. How many has he played now? 13? He's played 2 good games. 2. Aronson is a fucking grass roller. He's a lawnmower. That's what he does. He's at grass level 90% of the game. That's got to change, or else he's going to be shit a brick and fucking the championship. Adams was the guy, and this is the one guy all of those guys say. It's like Joe and Connor. We're not being anti-American. We love Tyler Adams. We want him to stay. We love Tyler Adams. It's not about the fact that these 2 guys are American that we're shitting on them. They're just not good enough, and they haven't performed. And that is true for both Aronson and McKennie. They need to do more. And if they don't do more, this team's going down. Now, Aronson's not going to get a chance to do more. He's going to be on the bench for these last 4 games, I think, in a Sam lineup, a big Sam lineup. I don't think he plays, because I think they go to a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-4-1, and there's no place for him on that team in that setup.
Sure.
So, I mean, Aronson started off like he was shot out of cannon beginning of the season. But now everybody knows what he does and what he brings, and they just take advantage of him. So he's going to have to fix that, sadly.
Yep.
All right.
So
I didn't mean that
over
to
to
be
another topic here. Did you have any other players you wanted to talk about that needed to make the move? I guess since we talked about
Sargent.
West, what do you think? Where do you think West is going to end up after this season? Because he's even if Leeds stays up, they're not going to exercise it. He's going to go back to Juve. Will he stay at Juve? Will he go to another team? What do you think is going to happen there?
I think West is going to have to look himself in the mirror. And he probably would stay at Juve, would be my guess. He'll probably be a somewhat semi-regular starter again. But I just don't see his performance. Let me put it this way. There are multiple teams out there in the Premier League, like West Ham, who would take Adams tomorrow. Mm-hmm. They take him. What McKennie has done is lowered his stock. He has underperformed. And yes, I get it. He's used to being a cog in a bigger wheel with Juventus. He doesn't have to be the star. At Leeds, he has to be the star because they don't have any other stars. And he's failed at being the star. He's failed at being the man, the guy, the go-to dude. Like when he went there, he had to understand. I think he understood that, okay, if Adams is healthy, I'm like part of a cog, sort of, but I still have to be the man. But now he really has to be the man because Adams is gone and he is not living up to that. So where could he go after this? He could go back to Germany. I don't know. He ended up at Leverkusen. For all I fucking know.
Not to really jump down the rabbit hole that is Leeds in this conversation, I guess, but we talked about the fact that he's playing in a position that's not necessarily suitable.
It's not
to
his position.
benefit.
No,
And that's not
he's
to make
not
an
a
excuse
six.
for his play. He still has
Right.
errant passes. There are times where he's not busting his ass hard enough. 100% agree that a lot of the issues aren't necessarily just him being played out of position, but it does play a factor because we talked about when Pulisic was played as a wingback for Chelsea. We're like, well, that wasn't a great game, but he's not a wingback, you know. So
you can't play guys so far out of position. Listen, we've been talking about, like, once he got there, we were like, okay, now Roca and Adams can play the two holding sixes, and then you can play McKennie as the attacking midfielder. Like, do that. That's where he's good. Get him in the box. Get him on headers.
That might have been the game plan from the get-go, and then obviously Jesse got fired, and then Adams got injured, and then now they're sitting there going like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Now they're fucked. Like,
we don't want anybody to replace Adams, and McKinney's not a replacement for Adams by any means.
Yeah.
But even then, you have a situation where, like, you're taking corner kicks, and McKennie is sitting 5 to 10 yards out of the box. What is that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I really do see Big Sam, going with like a 4-4-1, a 4-4-2, right? Or a 4-1-4-1, but more could be a 4-4-2. But I do think he's going to end up playing McKennie out wide on the right in a 4-4-2, playing Nanto out left, and playing Roca and Forshaw in the middle of the midfield, and then having Struck, Wober, Cooper, and Ayling in front of Robles. Now we'll see if he's got the balls to bench Melier, but somebody's got to bench Melier at this point. And then you have Rodrigo and Bamford up top playing off of each other, and they play counter ball. I don't know. We'll see if it happens.
We saw Weston do well out wide in the
with
World
Juventus.
Cup. And Juventus too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, mind you, in the World Cup, he didn't play as an out-and-out winger, but he played out wide, and he allowed Dest to have a little more freedom to sit back and go into the attack and have that defense. Whereas at Juve, he played more of an offensive winger. And
yes,
so it just depends on how they play him, and they may play him further up the pitch and out wide. And, he can lace the ball across the pitch, or he can take it in there.
It's a total waste of Weston McKennie playing him as a 6. It's just a waste.
Yes.
It's an absolute waste. And so all these Leeds fans that hate on McKennie, I get it. He hasn't been what you thought, but he should never have been brought in to play as a 6 in a 4-2-3-1. Never. That's not his position ever. He'd be better as a winger, for Christ's sake, than he would as a 6. He is doing his I'm going to say he's not doing his best as a 6. He's doing okay as a 6. He's doing less than okay. But it's not really his position to begin with. And you know what? It's Leeds' fault. They don't have any backup for Roca or fucking Adams. If either of those two guys are injured, that position cannot be filled by anybody else, because Forshaw is not going to fill that position. Not in the way that those two guys can. And you might say, well, those guys have been so poor. But yeah, Forshaw is not going to have any more luck or joy in that spot than those two guys. So anyhow, all right.
You want to bounce over to Sargent next?
Yeah, I just want to say I'd like to see Sargent move on. I would like to see him maybe get signed by one of the teams going up into the Premier League or a lower Premier League side. I think that just get out of Norwich. It's puke ball. I don't like the way they play.
What if Leeds gets relegated?
I guess he could go there, but they could use it because fucking Bamford's a joke. Although I do like the fact that Big Sam's like, if we're going to succeed at this, then Bamford has got to be big. He's got to loom large. He's got to come. He's got to be in form. He's got to be fit. I mean, that's, that's at least him saying, hey, Bamford, I think you're important. So I guess that's one way of boosting his confidence. But putting a lot of pressure on a guy who has not come through. 13 goals in 40 games.
13 goals in 40 games. But the thing is that if when at least in the games that I'm able to watch, Sargent is consistently one of the top players. On the pitch.
You got to, Larry, just remember that Sargent hasn't really got to play center forward for maybe 20 of those 40 games.
Yeah,
he's been playing out wide.
They're just like they were in the Premier League. They don't produce a crazy amount of opportunities.
No, Norwich are god-awful.
They've just been dreadful. They started off strong, but then they just teetered off throughout the season. And it's one of those things that it's a shame. And the fact that Sargent's managed to get this 13 goals is good. I think he probably could have had a couple more, and then obviously goalkeeper save shit. He misses it wide or he just scuffs it. Shit happens. But he's had a good season. Quite frankly, he's put it his general work ethic is always there. His ability to distribute the ball out wide, just like what you want with a hold-up striker, is on par, on peak, basically. He's able to lace those passes there, and he just looks the most dynamic in the attack, quite frankly.
He is the most competent player on Norwich. Competent. And when I watch the games, I watch all these motherfuckers losing possession, making bad passes, doing stupid shit. But whenever the ball comes to Sargent, for the most part, he makes the right decision, the right pass, and makes the right run. Motherfuckers just don't give him the ball back. I don't know what to say. I mean, I would love to say that Sargent's just he's his own worst enemy, but that's not the case in this case. We've talked about other players. Yeah. We've talked about other players who are their worst enemy. In this case, not the case.
There are instances where he is his own worst enemy, and he makes mistakes. Everybody does, but
compared to his teammates,
week in, week out, he's arguably the best player on the pitch for Norwich, and that's not saying much. Norwich just have not been good since like the first 10 matches. They were solid for a while, and then teetered out and did something. I don't know what happened.
Falling off the cliff. Yep, absolutely.
But, right. No, it's and we're not saying that he would go right up to a mid-table EPL team and start dominating. Derek, you mentioned that he maybe a team going up to EPL or a team just coming down from EPL.
Yeah, lower level.
Basically, he needs to get away from Norwich at this point.
Just leave Norwich, go play, at a just newly promoted team that needs more scoring and needs another offensive player, or whoever managed to barely survive. Let's say Leeds survive barely. All right, well, they need another center forward, and I don't think Bamford's the guy you want to take into next season. I would frankly say that Sargent is a better player, has higher ceiling than Bamford. Yeah. And I signed Sargent before I'd play Sargent. In fact, 100%. This season I would play Sargent before I played Bamford in any of those games.
Yeah, 100%. And Larry, you keep posting 13 goals, 2 assists in 40 games. Look at Leeds stats. Look at them. He has 13 goals. He's top of their goal scorers. Pookie has 10 goals, and then there's a bunch of ones and a bunch of twos, and that's about it. They don't have a lot of goal scoring opportunities. Norwich is not a good team, and he needs to bounce out of there. That's about as
Norwich is garbage, and Wagner has made them worse. I hate saying that about an American guy, but Wagner is he's just on a horrible streak. And whatever he's doing there, they look worse. They don't look like a team that has any sort of glue, like any sort of chemistry at all. They're like scrapping through games and hoping to get something lucky to happen, because they have got zero chemistry on Norwich. Mm-hmm. Zero. It left about game 13 in the season, and it's been all downhill or sort of downhill since then. Yeah. All right, what else you got?
You got any other players you want to talk about?
Not really, but I do want to mention, since we mentioned big old Sam, that I hope he signs Kevin Nolan as a assistant coach. Why? Because Big Sam played at least 7 or 8 seasons coached 7 or 8 seasons with Bolton. And Kevin Nolan was his fucking heart and soul of that team. Yeah. It would be just apropos. But Kevin Nolan's currently the first team coach at West Ham, I believe. But what a player that guy was. I'm sorry, a lot of people did not like Kevin Nolan. I always had a respect for Kevin Nolan back in the 2000s, because that guy was a warrior. And I like guys like that. And that's kind of what Leeds needs right now, a warrior mentality, even if it's sort of a cheap shot thing or whatever you want to call Kevin Nolan. But Kevin Nolan came to fucking fight every time he was on the pitch. And maybe a lot of people don't know who Kevin Nolan is. Go on YouTube and look up Kevin Nolan highlights. Good player. Never got to play in the English national team, but probably should have got at least one or two, call-ups. But, he was always considered Big Sam's toy player.
Chris does bring up Ream broke his arm. He did. He's out for the rest of the season, which few games it is. And he didn't indicate anything about retiring, which, of course, why would he? He's in his prime.
He's going to retire. And the really good news from that awkward fall is that he didn't hurt his pecker. His wife came out with a tweet and said his pecker's totally cool. It's all good. And that while
we're expecting our second.
She said while his right arm is injured, I'll do all the well, you know what she's going to do. All right.
He's got to build some dexterity with his left hand. Is that what you're saying?
No, she wanted to relieve him of all those duties. So, yeah. I did want to mention this week, by the way, Brett, that Musa played and got yanked at halftime by Valencia in their tie. Luca De La Torre went 46. He played the second half, didn't start. Chandler and Aronson, I tuned into that game, the Pokal game, because I really thought they would get to play, both of them. Yes. But I guess we're too deep in the Pokal for that to happen. So neither of them saw a minute. And then today, Holmes did not play for Huddersfield. He's still injured, and Cardoso is injured too for International. So there you go. We're all good. That's kind of all we got tonight.
No, guys. Not even close, Derek.
Oh God! All right,
we went too long on a couple of those, not a couple of those topics, like the topic, I guess. But a lot of this stuff's going to go by pretty quick.
All right.
So we got the U20 coming up here this summer before Nations League and everything, and we're starting. We're starting to get some players that are. Where the teams are saying, they're not gonna be released, and then some that are gonna be released.
Okay.
So I figured let's just quickly go down the list of some of the players and talk about what we think. And
okay,
I'm gonna start close to home here.
All right.
At Chicago.
And
Pastor Hendrickson confirms that the decision is final. Brian Gutierrez and Chris Brady will not be going to the U20 World Cup.
Denied. Cockblock.
So as I mentioned above, I'm kind of torn here because I want to see both of them at the U20s. Now, mind you, Brady's probably going to sit second fiddle to Slonina, and maybe that's one reason why Hendrickson's like, we're not going to release him. But I also want to see them in Chicago because Chicago has had 2 playoff matches in the last 13 years.
You must be trying to put me to sleep.
Derek, do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
You must be trying to put me to sleep.
Derek, just go to sleep. But anyways, so Brian Gutierrez, that's going to be the one that's going to suck. But they're consistent starters. But I also threw shade on ATL on a number of World Cup qualifiers and World Cup matches.
They do that all the time.
But they don't release their players. So I threw shade. So I'm kind of a hypocrite here. And I said, perhaps the answer is at the bottom of the bottle. I'm going to have a whiskey and a whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing there.
Yeah,
nothing there. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite.
Dunked it.
Because I want them to stay in Chicago, but I also want them at the World Cup, and I can't blame them. But
dude,
so just going down the list here.
Seems to me you're a little divided there. Like you're jerking 2 cocks at the same time. You can't figure out which one you want to finish.
Just rotating hands.
You're like kind of like this,
pulling a handkerchief out of my pocket, type of thing.
It's like, you got to pick one at one point and do it. I mean, unless you're expecting a magical
fandom, you watch your tongue.
A magical explosions from both directions at the same time. 18-year-old split midfielder Rokas Pukstas won't be going to the U20 World Cup for the United States. He's very important. He's very important to us at the end of the season. We will stay with the team so that he can participate in the last 4 league games in the final of the Croatian Cup. Okay, that's fine. Another one bites the dust.
Jim Curtin has a couple things to say here.
Think about the kids, and I'm getting fired up. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that they may never get back again. To prevent them from playing in a U20 World Cup, I'm sorry, I don't agree with it. So, yeah, he's keeping them off too?
No, he's not. Let's see, this is the next one. Okay, so he's releasing Sullivan, he's releasing Craig, and he's also releasing, what's his face, McGlynn?
McGlynn. No big loss for him. None of them play.
McGlynn does. He plays some.
Some.
The other ones don't. Craig really doesn't play, and then Sullivan's like a late game sub.
No loss for Curtin.
But but he's released them all. That's all really matters. We got
the other guys actually.
This one's shocking. This one's actually shocking to me. Atlanta
he will be
released. Yeah, Caleb Wiley. Yeah.
No, he's not. I guess he is a starter, but I figure they could. Yeah, but who's not there anymore? Bocanegra.
Is he not?
No, Bocanegra was the big cock blocker back in the day. He's gone.
He wasn't thinking about the kids, Derek.
He's kind of a dick. No offense.
Here we go. This is where the same thing. We already talked about McGlynn.
Good.
All right, so our good friend Brian here, he says,
will it happen? Probably not, but Faras, having a conversation over Ricardo Pepi wouldn't be a bad thing. Groningen should clinch relegation this weekend, and Groningen has no interest in Pepi's development as they don't own him. Also, U20 World Cup ends before the Nations League. No. Pepi's not going to the U20s. No way. He won't do it.
I would be surprised, but the U20 certainly could use an actual striker.
Well, they could use him.
Instead of using Paxton as a false nine.
There is fucking no way Ricardo Pepi is taking... He will look at that in a massively negative way. There's no way he's taking
It's not going to happen. No chance. No chance. No. He's vying for one of the top senior spots at this point between him, Sargent, and a ghost figure of Balogun for the time being.
No,
but he's vying for that starting role. So at the seniors, it's not going to happen at U20.
I'm sorry. That's like when I've been playing for in high school for the senior team, and then you want me to go play for the JV team? No,
just because you happen to be a freshman.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Yeah. Not doing it.
I actually had to do that one game my freshman year. I was playing consistently 20 to 30 minutes my freshman year in the for the senior team. And then they brought me down for a game just so I can get more playing time. But it didn't do shit. It was worthless.
Yeah.
I did it because I wanted to play. That's the big difference, I guess. But
well, yeah. Yeah.
And there was no senior game that day either. So.
Yeah, I don't see Pepi doing
senior,
this.
But varsity.
Yeah, varsity,
no.
Yeah.
100% I agree with you. We're not seeing Pepi.
No. That'd be embarrassing for him.
All right, while we're talking... Good, sorry.
Shouldn't be, but it would be. Listen, guys that have been playing for the big boy team do not want to be sent down to the U20. We're not U23s would be one thing. U20s? No, I don't think so.
Well, what happens if Pepi goes and he has a shit World Cup? I mean, that's just going to hurt his stock more.
I don't think he would, but I don't think he wants to go play.
No, I agree with you 100% there. Yeah.
Meaningless tournament for all intents and purposes. So,
but since we're talking about how the U20 World Cup ends before the Nations League, let's talk about the Nations League here for just a brief second. Yes. Stephen Goff says that U.S. men's national team will hold a camp in June 5th through 12th in Southern California, but has no plans of a friendly. That's just before they go to Las Vegas. So they called them in early. Season's end. They have their summer break. And they get called in a week early before they go to Vegas for a week.
Yeah. I don't really have a
They're going to do a couple trainings and then they're going to hit the bars. I mean,
pretty much.
That's basically what I would expect here. But
Shout
since
out to Stephen Goff.
But another
who was on our show in 2011, 2012, which was on our show.
So another fun little talking point since we're talking about the U.S. men's national team here is we have another nice little snippet from our good friend Joe Scally. talking about.
Okay, now we're getting some real shizzle dizzle. All right, this actually matters. What he said.
All right, let's take a look and see what he has to say about stuff.
All that U20 jackassery.
As we move on,
deleted.
Move on, Derek. Move on.
Coach right now. If Joe Scally had to say, "Hey, like I would love this in the next coach," what would you put on? What would you put on the sheet?
What would you put on the sheet, Derek? On the next coach. Let's see if you mesh with what Scally says.
No, I basically say I don't want some over-controlling, overbearing fucking cunt.
Okay.
But I bet he doesn't use the word cunt.
I think he uses it with the letter K instead of the C.
Okay.
No,
He says, fuck Greg.
Yeah, I think a coach that definitely understands, we're not a club team, where
right.
We're not a club team, huh?
Right in the Berhalter fucking nutsack.
Yeah.
That was just a jab to the fucking nutsack of Berhalter's.
We're not a club team, and there are plenty of people who've been saying that for like an entire cycle.
Oh man, you know how you see the guys, the boxers who go on the fast bag, on the speed bag. That was Berhalter's right there.
Yeah.
He's just warming them up for a bigger punch. Here we go.
Simple tactics, simple system that we can all
Bam!
brings out the best in all the players. Not something to.
What he's saying is it's not a system that takes three separate windows to understand, like Eric Williamson said, right?
So yeah, he was just warming up those Berhalters, right? And then he went boom, and that was one. He's gonna have another. He's gonna have a left here coming soon.
To where it's too complicated, and you're overthinking on the field because you see videos of other teams. It's really an actual team. Brings the joy out of the game. You're playing for your country. You're just there. That extra fight, knowing you have the crest on your back, on your chest should bring out everything you need in the game, not confusing tactics and all that.
Oh shit!
Not confusing tactics. You're playing for the United States national team. That's all you need. Just say you're playing back. You read the game. If you feel you can go up in the attack, go in the attack.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was a right and then a left to the halters, both of the Berhalters, and those nutsacks are swollen up and bruised. Because seriously,
this is our high press we're going to play, and then if he moves here, you need to be reading this and go back there and do this over here. And do that, But if he goes over here, you got to read it and go over here and do this instead.
Can you imagine the endless PowerPoints? Holy shit! I'm so glad Joe Scally said this. Now, does this mean that Berhalter's definitely not coming back? Because he seems so very comfortable saying this.
It's pretty solid to say yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Did you hear that Marsh and Armas were both in Chicago this week?
Doesn't surprise me.
So
it wins Hasenhudel's interview. Do we know?
Who knows?
It's coming soon.
But David D said that was like 3 uppercuts to the open chin, which is basically the Mike Tyson punch out.
Now I was thinking more nutsicles than I was chin. Those were blows to the actual testicular fortitude of fucking Greg Berhalter.
Berling here says that Scally's interview made Reddit cry. A lot makes Reddit cry. In fact, the dumbest stuff makes Reddit cry.
Who were crying? Who are people crying on Reddit?
Just the Reddit people.
What were they crying about? Like, Scally's a traitor. Or is that what they're saying?
The tactics aren't that difficult. It's not hard to learn. It's not complex.
It's like
shit like that.
People are like, Scally's just stupid.
Berhalter won Nations League Gold Cup and got us out of the group stages.
Berhalter's fucking tactics require a 99 IQ. So Scally must be a fucking 78 dumbass. Oh God. That's not the point.
I'm guessing that's what they're crying about. If they're crying about anything, if this interview is making them cry, then it has to be something like that.
I don't know. I haven't gone to Reddit. I've been on Reddit. I did an interview on Reddit once, a long time ago, for Indy 11. But since then, I've been back, and it was okay. It was an interview.
I dislike Reddit with a passion.
Oh yeah, certainly. It sounds like it's a bunch of morons there most of the time on these specific topics. But all right, I'm not going to say everyone is, because I'm sure there's some good guys trying to hold
some lovely people there. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to wave the flag and not any particular flag, but the flag of sensibility. But anyhow, all right. What else we got?
Oh, here we go. Logan says the many GG nutlickers that exist in our fan base is probably at Reddit, is what he's saying.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes. I mean, listen, it's amazing how many nutlickers of Greg Berhalter. And it's not even just the fans that. I mean, Greg's already getting his nuts totally tongue cleaned every night by most of the press. So, he doesn't need a lot of extra help.
Sorry, finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm sure his wife does some too. So it's like, how much nut licking does one man need? I say never enough. But hey, that's just me personally.
KG Sports Club says the most confusing part of the tactics were figuring out how the Nines were going to score. It's simple. The Nines were never needed. Berhalter never needed the Nines to score 5 goals in a game.
Dude, it's like
why not?
It's like a 13-year-old in a whorehouse. Good luck. What else we got?
Do you feel like that was kind of part of the last regime under Greg Berhalter?
I think Greg definitely brought his ideas. I think his ideas were good. We definitely played well in the World Cup.
Oh,
I think as a player, when you're on the field and you're overthinking things, it's it leads to silly mistakes and.
So
God!
He definitely covered his ass, and wanted to make sure that he didn't call Berhalter out for Berhalter there.
No, he did.
But then he immediately jumped in and said, "Yeah, but when it's so really complicated, you make silly mistakes."
He did not cover his ass at all. He might as well be wearing a pair of jeans with a big hole right where the anus is and say, "Fuck me here," because that was not covering anything. He just went on a whole soliloquy, and then basically Seb was like, "You want to cover your ass here?" And he's like, "Yeah, a little bit, but nah."
Well, he said the tactics are good. We played good in the World Cup, but when it's overcomplicated, people make silly mistakes.
All I got to tell you is, if Greg's rehired, he better buy a lot of Vaseline, because fucking Scally's getting his ass ripped open. Just telling you.
Yeah.
Just telling you. Greg does not like to hear shit like this. He does not like Dwayne Holmes. He does not like John Brooks. He does not like Matt Miazga. He does not like Gio Reyna. He does not like anyone. Matthew Hoppe. Luca De La Torre did grow on him, but that was like a slow growing like herpes.
Should I
it wouldn't go
hold on, or should I bring Luca De La Torre? Shit.
Because it wouldn't go away, right?
Yeah.
But no, this hitting Greg right where it hurts, because this is exactly somebody diagnosing exactly what Greg's problem is and flaunting it to the world. And if this was Christian Pulisic, this shit would have been all over the fucking press. But because it's Joe Little Ball Scally, we're not going to hear much about it. But if Scally were a bigger size of testicles, this shit would be all over the fucking press. Just isn't right now.
And silly things.
I'm not saying that Scally doesn't have large testicles. I'm just saying not as large as Pulisic's.
It leads to silly mistakes and.
You gonna continue talking over him? What's happening here?
We played the important parts.
There's like literally 5 seconds left, and you just talked over them the entire 5 seconds.
Well, because it's all done. He shot his wad.
And silly things where you're not yourself and you can't express yourself. So
okay,
there you go. The exact same thing Pepe said when he talked about Hudson and how he handles the 9,
and how he loves Hudson.
It's a lot of the same talking points. He gives us the freedom to express ourselves, to be ourselves, to read the game and play. So
yes, there's a general theme developing here. We've heard it from the agents of the players too, right? We heard it from, at least 7 players, agents, who all said the same thing. This is like a tightwad fucking constipating system, and the players don't like playing in it. But yet, that's why we see a lot of other players unhappy when a guy like Pulisic comes out and gives Greg a fucking reach around in an interview from some weirdo bald dude no one's ever heard of. And, And the guy's like basically setting them up to like the questions are answering the questions before the questions are asked.
What you're saying is this. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, John says that's why Pulisic didn't say this, LOL, because he didn't want to be I think if Pulisic came out and said this, he would still be perfectly fine because Pulisic is still going to be Pulisic. And as we saw with Greg, even before Scally said this, obviously, he still barely played Scally ever. So,
I mean, that's got to be humiliation when they put out a guy to play right back and had the worst performance in the World Cup you've ever seen, Shaq Moore, who couldn't cut it in fucking the second Spanish division, and then comes to MLS and has a few fucking good games, and he gets to play over you.
No. What it was is that Berhalter has had Shaq Moore in more games than Scally. And that's as simple as I can put it.
Is
that
ludicrous.
He went with the stupidity of, well, I know what I get from Shaq Moore. I don't know what I'm going to get from Scally.
Well, then he's not paying attention and not watching a lot of Gladbach games, because we all knew what we were going to get from Shaq Moore, and it was from diabolical to putrid was the level you were going to get, and that's exactly what you got when he came on. Horrible. And this guy would have done a better job as long as fucking Zimmerman wasn't up his ass blaming him for a bad pass that Zimmerman made.
I kicked that 10 yards behind you. When do you get to it?
You fucker.
What's funny about this is that in the World Cup, if you brought Scally in as a right back for Dest, that allows Jedi to have unlimited offensive freedom to move up. Because then you're basically saying Joe Scally's going to sit back more.
Yeah,
and help solidify that defense and go from there. Because he's not a bomb up the field like a Jedi or a Dest.
No, he's not. Right.
He's basically a significantly higher upgrade to Shaq Moore.
He's a competent defender.
So yeah,
yes,
this was a stupidity of Berhalter, and Scally's probably enjoying himself. Flat out knowing, my guess is that the agents have told him, like, hey, we talked to USSF, they're not hiring Berhalter. Because there's no reason why you'd ever come out here and say something like this unless you're positive you're never going to be coached under that guy again.
I don't think Joe Scally would know that. I think Joe Scally's just going on a hunch right now. And he's
think the agents
hoping for the best.
The agents probably looking at this going like, Betty Crocker has two guys who play his style. It's going to be one of them. It's not going to be this Berhalter nonsense.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. And if it ends up being that way, we're just looking at total, absolute regression in the way we're looking at how 2026 is going to work out. And we've got to deal with more drama. Oh, Berhalter and Gio get to hang out for the first time. How did that all work out? We don't need any of that shit. Good luck getting me to watch Big Sam coach soccer team, let alone root for one. I replied to that, Chambers. And I did say no warm spot for Sam because, listen, is there a bigger underdog on the fucking planet right now than Sam fucking Allardyce? There isn't. This guy was just handed a big load of shit. A big pile of fucking dog shit, and he's got to mold it into a sculpture of some sort. Like, what is that sculpture going to look like? Is it going to be like the icicle we saw earlier? Is it going to be a big erect penis? Or is it just going to fall over and just disperse into the grass and become fucking fodder for future seeds of grass to grow? Is it going to become fertilizer? Or can Allardyce somehow stop the Man City game from being a 7-0 defeat? Like, could it be just 2-0? Or maybe 1-0? Maybe it's 1-1 tie. Could Sam Allardyce pull something out? Now, based on the interview I saw, the guy looks half asleep. So we'll see.
I get 5 games of pay. I'm happy.
If he saves the team, he gets a $2.5 million bonus. Otherwise, he's just getting half mil.
Not
For
even-
those
not even-
4
like,
games.
we're probably not going to bring you back next season. But if you do this, you get the big bucks. You know.
And we are throwing a huge party, and all the naked chicks you want are coming over. Or if you like boys, all the naked dudes you want. You know, whatever you want, Sam. At this point,
what's the Muslim thing? Is it 40 virgins?
well, Sam's not a Muslim, so
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can start. You can transition over to becoming. So
you had to make this religious, didn't you?
sure, why not? barely made this religious. I'm making a joke about the 40 virgins. If you sacrifice yourself, you know, he's dropping on this Leeds grenade right now. It's like, I'll take the blow as long as there's 40 virgins that blow me too. You know.
All right, I think that's it for the show. We want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and remember, you can have sex with all 40 of those virgins as long as they're not related to you. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card. Good night.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line. Or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her.